Okay, meeting of the Committee of the Whole will come to order. All members are present with the exception of Alderperson Tenorio, who is excused. Approval of the minutes of October 19th, 2021.
Approved.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes are approved. Item D2, it's a 2021 ward map and aldermanic redistricting. Mr. Decker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So the county on Friday enacted a tentative supervisory map. It was approved Monday morning, and so I sent out a few maps to the council for their consideration. I'm going to go through them very quickly and then open up to the floor for discussion, and hopefully we can come to a conclusion of what sort of map the council is looking to enact. What you see ahead of you is the current map, and I tried to make it so that I could click through here and everything would be kind of layered on top of each other, so hopefully this works. That's the current map. It needs to be adjusted based on population. You'll see the green lines, that's where the county is. So in West Dallas, the only lines that cross us are this line that goes, I think it's down 70th, 68th, then kind of juts out here, and then down below it and down 76th. So this side is one supervisory district, and this side of that line is another one. The county did make a mistake in the process by including the Morgan Avenue site in Supervisor District 17 all by itself. We will be correcting that by including that in one of the wards within the city, forcing the county to acknowledge it. So that is the one thing that, in a good faith effort, we can and should change from the county's map. So other than that, this is the line we were intended to deal with. We have to make a good faith effort to comply. So all these examples do comply. The first suggestion would be the minimal changes suggestion. This is map 11. As you can see, the only thing that switches, a few properties around here switch to, because District 1 is too large, so that is taken over here. And then this area between 3 and 5 switches, and only a few blocks between 2 and 4 switch over here. That's the only changes that are made under map 11. Map 12 goes a little further because based on prior discussions, the council seemed to favor a little more squared off and compact districts. So I made another slight adjustment. This one squares them off a little bit more by moving this up one block and also switching National down to Beecher as far as where the dividing line is. Everything else remains basically the same. And then from that point, in order to get the most, as close as I could get to what the committee was discussing on prior meetings, this is the map I think that's closest. The difference is District 2 extends south of Lincoln, and that is because the way this line was drawn, there is not enough room to go. If you don't go west of 84th and you stay at this line, there's nowhere else you can grab anyone for District 2, so it has to go south of Lincoln to get the proper population.
What number map is that one, Kale?
This is 13.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
So this is the one I think that closely resembles it. However, if it was important to you to keep District 2 north of Lincoln, the only option you have, because this line's in the way, is to go west. So this section would be carved out and added to 2, and when you do that, it shifts 3 around, which shifts 5 around, which shifts 4 around, and you actually end up cutting through a neighborhood here to create equal-sized districts. The alternative would be to cut through a different neighborhood up here. If you wanted to do that, if you again wanted to keep 2 north of Lincoln, that's the reason that these 2 maps exist. Is the purpose is to keep 2nd District north of Lincoln. This map is just completely out of scratch. It had no relation to where prior districts were. I just tried to get the highest compact percentage numbers in my stats, and this is the most compact I could make them. But again, it's significantly different and doesn't have any real relation to prior maps, but I want to make sure everyone has options. And then you'll see that District 1 was identical in all of these, and that is because on the east side of this green line, there's about 13,000 some odd folks living there. And so you have to remove a couple thousand of them to make this as efficient as you can. And the only way you can take them out is right here if you want to keep this 2nd District somewhat in order. So that's why I kept pulling out this group right here. This is identical in all of them. But to show you that you do have other options if you're interested, I did create one in which one stays out here a little bit farther and loses folks up here instead. This results in a very small ward right here and a very small ward right here, and it kind of creates some interesting lines, but it can be done if the council's interested in not going with this design for District 1. Those are the options we've got.
Anyone have any comments or suggestions, or
Mr. President?
we should just go around and ask everybody everybody have a chance to look at these? Okay,
If we're going to go around, then I can wait.
Vince?
I have no problem with it.
So which one do you like?
The one right there.
So you like 16?
Yeah.
And I can go through them one more time. Just, how about this? I'll go through one more time.
Do you want this,
And in
Vince?
your mind, picture which one you want the most.
Or Rosie? Pardon me? Do you want this as better view?
Yeah, then-
I have. Thank you.
So, again, and just think in your mind before you go on the room. 11 is the minor change map. 12 is the minor change but squared off map. 13 is the map that most resembles prior discussions. 14 is the map that moves to west of 84th and cuts through this neighborhood. 15 is the one that cuts through this neighborhood, but again, keeps 2 north of Lincoln. This is the compactness map, and this is the cut through District 1 and create the 2 small wards. So, with that in mind,
Yeah, really, the way it is now, I mean, I think it looks better this way, really.
You like 16
Yeah,
or this one? Which one do you like?
He was on 13.
He was on 13.
You're on 13.
13, yeah.
13's the one you like?
Yes.
Okay, Vince is for 13. Rosalie?
13.
13.
Are we voting for one or?
You can vote for 2 if you want. If you want a second choice? Well, let's go for 1 first.
okay.
and see
So
what
that's
happens.
fine.
I like 13.
13,
And 13 for me as well.
13,
13.
13,
11.
11,
13.
13,
And I'm 13.
and I am 13 as well.
Can you show us 11 again?
So let's take a look at 11.
11,
That's the only other
Dare to be different, Dan. Dare to be different.
11 is the minor change map.
minor change. That keeps it pretty much the same.
So here's your current districts, and I'll show you, you can see how the colors shift just a little bit between the two. And that's enough to get the populations in line, but it's a very minor change.
I don't like being on the other side of the expressway.
That's
More adventurous with your bike.
What's that?
More adventurous with your bike.
Yeah, there you go, yeah. I could take 11 as my second, but it seems like we're pretty much decided.
And I think the majority of the council pretty much wants 13. So.
Yes.
The lines just look very clean.
Yeah, that's-
It makes sense
that's what I'm looking
as far
at.
as
Yes.
demographics.
You know, yes.
I mean, 3 is taking a very big change, and
And I think it keeps the demographics pretty much the same.
absolutely.
Agreed.
Okay, then I'm going to go into my map here, the mapping software. Because that one appeared to be most popular, I happened to already draft some wards for it. So I'm going to show you what the ward plan might look like. And go in closer here. So the nice thing about wards is they don't have to be identical in population, just the automatic districts have to be identical or close to identical in population. So I tried to just group things based on neighborhood association lines, highways, railroads, major streets, things like that. So I don't know if anyone has any interest in this, but this would be the map that I was going to present to the clerks to see if this works for their purposes.
That's what I was going to ask you, if you worked with the clerk's office on it.
It's the hard part about it is, especially in 3, there really isn't a way to make it nice and perfectly square like the other areas because it's just a very dense population.
I'm more concerned about the polling places where people are going to vote,
Right.
that they're,
Yeah, so
somewhat close to where the board they are.
and that was my goal, was to create as compact areas as we can for the purpose of hopefully allowing folks not to drive too far. The only problem is this one. I really can't figure out another way to keep nice solid lines without making 21 this longer angled piece.
And you can't split that into 2 wards?
I could, but they'd then be 2 very small wards. And we'd also lose the idea of having 5 wards per district, which is a nice
Gotcha.
I'm trying to maintain consistency that way. It could be done, but
I'm looking at that, and there aren't that many people living on the north end of that. Very few. I think most of them live down in what's now the 5th district.
so I wanted to take this one and connect it to 22,
Yeah.
but it gets over our maximum limit then. So in order to keep 22 together, I can't include this area of 21
That's okay.
because it gets over 3,200.
Yeah, Mr. Chair. Yeah, Kale, I'm not too concerned personally about the shape of wards. I don't think anyone
I'm concerned about
knows
where they vote.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's more the
That's
concern.
important stuff.
And I think right now they're voting at Hale, aren't they?
Yeah, the entire west side is at Hale.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
So then it
People are
shouldn't matter.
watching anyways.
Then it shouldn't matter on that.
Wouldn't that have been Lane? That would
But
be-
yeah, not
Way
them.
up- way up
They
on
would
the
have
north.
been in the 3rd district,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, they would have voted
you're-
at Lane.
They would be at
Right.
Lane. Yeah.
What number change?
So then, would that then send them to Hale? I mean, if it did, it's what, blocks away from,
Well, we could keep it Lane. We can do whatever we want to do.
Right.
yeah, because that was Lane Elementary, or,
So the way,
Intermediate.
yeah.
the reason I want to make the
Yeah.
wards compact is because if there's ever opportunity or if things change in the future where it's easier to conduct 25 different polling locations, I want it to be at least convenient for the future voters. However, right now it's not a very practical thing, and there have been a lot of combining of wards.
Right.
So the clerk would just simply have to choose which wards combine with other wards when designating those polling places and present the council with. The council ultimately has to approve those polling places anyway, but it would be based upon a combination of several wards to create each one.
Do we only redraw the
number
ward
20.
map every 10 years?
Sir.
Yes.
Number 22 is still voting at Hale.
It would be up to the clerk to propose that and the council to approve where they vote.
I think part of 22 also voted at Lane, because that was part of District 3.
22 voted at
Because we
Lane.
didn't vote at Hale
Yeah.
before.
Yeah, which made sense. That's right.
I mean, we voted at Hale,
Greenfield.
but not 20, we weren't 22,
No,
no.
that was the 3rd.
We would want
Right.
to change that to Lane.
It would,
Yeah.
yeah, it would make sense that 22 and 23 would be divided between Hale and Lane.
So the essentially the timing of this now comes down to the city has to adopt a ward plan and then adopt an aldermanic district plan. State statutes require publication of Class 2 notice, means 2 insertions for the aldermanic district plan. So tonight at the council meeting, as you probably saw on the agenda, the request from staff then is to simply postpone those 2 ordinances until November 16th, at which time the publications will go out. This ward plan will be uploaded to the agenda. The aldermanic district plan will be uploaded to the agenda, and we'll draft ordinances that will reflect those 2. Unless anyone has any comments or questions or anything they'd like to see differently on this.
So we won't vote on it until the 16th.
16.
Correct.
Okay.
So this does give you a chance to review it too in more close detail, and if there is anything, amendments can be made still on that date. But it would give you a chance to review it and make sure everything's lining up. In this plan, one nice thing about it is there's only one ward, this one, 16, that is in a supervisory district that is separate from other wards within the same aldermanic district. So for example, everyone in District 1 is going to have the same supervisor. Everyone in District 2, 3, and 5 is going to have the same county supervisor. If you're in District 4, this ward will have one supervisor and the other 4 wards would have a different supervisor. That's the only one, and that's just because mathematically it has to happen somehow.
That's not a big deal. But it's split now.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, so this is the minimum split that could happen. For the
Works for
convenience
me.
of voters and for the convenience of the clerks for
Works for me.
distributing ballots.
Gavel down.
Was that the controversial one by the board? There was one.
I don't know if this
There was a
race-
controversial.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't watch.
I
the
don't
whole
know
meeting.
which
was
one
a
it
very
was.
long
That's why.
meeting. So I more watched the end of the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, is there anything else to come before the committee of the whole?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned.